All right, it's Friday, March 22, 7 a.m. Looks like I got the stream started right on the dot of 7 a.m. And I've got 4 good charts today. So I'm just gonna get myself situated here. I think I'll start with PA2 today on the first trade. And see where we are. I mean, we had a big push down, and then when the market opened, this has kind of been a little bit of an area of resistance right here. Not much room. This is another day where not much room between previous day close and where the opening price is. I'm kind of in an area where I probably won't be able to take any trade until price moves out of this area, I'm guessing. Strong move up. Looks like it's going to go to close the gap. I'm actually going to copy trade Eval 35 on my first trade. I'm going to trade it with 5 contracts just because it does renew on Monday. So I'm going to push it a little harder today just to make sure it's in a good spot for renewal. So it's as good as as good or better as a brand new account. Will be the hope and goal. Or lose it and it gets renewed and reset for Monday. Gary, morning. How are you? So yesterday turned out to be not a bad day. I started off with the 1 loss right when I started, which was a bummer. That was on PA account, but then I went 6-0 for the rest of the day and was able to get 6 accounts green with just the 1 PA account staying red yesterday. And hopefully today will be a day where I can just avoid any kind of losses. Have a solid end to the week. Yeah, but it's funny. It sucks when you start off with a loss, but I know with the system I can go on streaks, even after a loss because I'm changing charts and it's just a different set of circumstances. Really after each loss or every time I'm trading on a different chart. So I know I can go on those streaks, which is why I'm trading the way I am with the accounts and everything. So, but I mean, it is interesting how, yesterday was a day where I could have just completely got the PA account back into the green in the same day. If I just copy traded it on every account or every trade like I did account 35, which I brought back up and ended up in the positive. Just looking here, we're right here. Just close the gap. Have a first entry, second entry if it closes below the previous day close price. Plenty of room. See what happens here. Looks like we're going to get a close above. So I'm just going to be careful here. I wouldn't want to enter if this bar were to close above and then trigger for a short. I wouldn't want to enter right into the previous day close. But if it's going to be a close down here, then I would enter it. So just trying to use this as a level of resistance potentially. I'm a little wary if it becomes an engulfing entry. I'm just going to try to be careful here. Let's see what happens. Is it going through, or has it done its job? That closed the gap. All right, well, I like where it is, coming right off the previous day close. All right. First win in the books. That was a pretty good one for PA2. This is now the highest balance I've had it at. And the closest to a payout. And nice to start the day without the first trade being a loss. That was exactly what I was looking for. I really like trading off these kinds of levels, previous day close, using it as resistance. When a setup happens right there, it seems to work virtually every time. Right, let's see what I got there. It looks like 4.5 points. So that's 18 ticks. Gary says, nice. Thank you. Let me update my stats here. So that's the 34th day traded on that PA and the 14th day traded on the evaluation. And let's see, I mean, this evaluation now has full drawdown above starting balance. So that's exactly where I wanted to get that account before it renews on Monday. So to me, it's good to go for the renewal. I don't need to trade it anymore today. And I'm not going to trade PA2 anymore today. I'm going to just lock those two in and move on to the next account. So I will go to PA6 next. And we'll see if I can't just go through my accounts today and get a bunch of wins, hopefully. And at the very least, get some wins on these two more PAs. And man, it'd be great to just pass this evaluation, put another PA on the board. Should be able to do it on my next trade on 31. Saggy's here. He says, good evening. I'm late on the desk today. Welcome, Saggy. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. Off to a good start here. 1-0. This was exactly how I like to start my day. I mean, it was the setup was exactly where I wanted it. I was talking about it as price was moving up to the previous close line. I don't know if you guys can see this line very well. I was looking back at my one of my videos from a week ago, and this line just doesn't show up very well. So maybe I need to make it like a brighter line so it just shows up a little bit better. So hopefully you're able to see that when I'm talking about it. Yeah, kind of hard to see. I know. I noticed that. I noticed that just last night when I was looking at an old video. Yeah, I'll probably I'll go in and change it. I mean, there's other options that are more visible. This is like, it's like a maroon, like kind of maroon color. And it just doesn't show up on stream very well, I guess. So hopefully you guys are at least able to see it enough that it's it makes sense when I'm talking about it. But anyway, when I come back, I'll make it a different color for next week so that it's very obvious. And I'm not sure about this line too. Are you guys able to see this line at the bottom here, which is the previous day low? It's like a solid dark red line. Okay. Need to double check and see if that one's visible. I feel like red, like the red in general on YouTube just isn't great. Like when it's red numbers, it's kind of like hard to read them sometimes. All right, in any case, we're right back into the opening price area. So between the opening price and previous day low. So again, we're back in another area where there's not a lot of space for me to operate in if there is a setup. How's your trading going today, Gary? so I have a potential setup on this chart, but it's going to be going right into the opening price. So I'm probably not touching this. Same as on my original chart. Here is a second entry going right into opening price and EMA. So these are spots where I'm just going to avoid, even though it's a bounce off the previous day low. That's a area that I like, but I don't like going right into the opening price with the EMA right there as well. So this is kind of attached to my newest and really almost my only rule for individual setups is just not going into these levels. So I'll skip it. Win or lose, whether this whether the setup is a win or a lose, I'm going to just continue to avoid taking these kinds of trades. Because I've just noticed that when I do have a winning chart, if it's going to take a loss, this will be the kind of area for a trade where it could get rejected and end up losing. Gary, okay, 5 PAs, 680-ish per 5 evals, about 1K per. I always laugh. You say it's an okay day, and then you say 680-ish per on your PAs, which to me is like a fantastic day. But that's great, Gary. That's awesome. I guess when you're doing it steadily every day, you don't get too excited about it. It's just, business as usual. It was an okay day. Got 680 per account. Love it. All right, so it's looking like there's been a little bit of a rejection here like I was concerned about. Hasn't reached my profit target yet. But literally 3 of my 4 charts all triggered there already. So I'm really hoping that it will work, just because I don't want to lose 3 charts to work off of right now. All right, and there it just hit it. The other 2 charts, it hasn't hit my profit target yet. Like if you want to see an example. So here it triggered later. And so has not hit the profit target yet on this one. As well as this one. It's also, it's the entry's in the same place, but the timing of it, these were triggered after the first one finally hit my profit target. So we'll see what happens with those. Hopefully they work. You can see on my original chart, the bar did get stopped right on the opening line. So that just like reconfirms for me why I have my rule, because it's obviously playing a role with price, the open price right there. Gary says, just monopoly numbers to me. Well, you've got the right way of looking at it. I mean, that's the reality. It is. It's just monopoly numbers. And I agree. It doesn't mean anything until you get your payouts, and then those numbers become real numbers in your bank account. Okay, so it looks like the other charts did work here for this trade. I'm still glad I stayed out of it. I'll just continue to do that. Pick and choose my spots. Otherwise, for the most part, my strategy has like no rules, almost no rules for individual setups. It's just playing the chart. And so really my main biggest rule at this point is just not to trade into these key areas. I'll trade against them like my first trade, but I'm not going to trade long right into it. But yeah, Gary, hopefully at some point I'll be making 600 per on my PAs as well, and I'll be able to feel the same way. I have to admit, I still get excited, especially for my PAs. My evaluations, I don't get excited anymore about anything. Like up 400, like doesn't mean anything to me on this account. But to be getting close to the payout level, gets me excited. And it's just, I'm sure because I haven't had any payouts yet, and I want to put that money back in my pocket. But I do want to get to the point where whatever I'm making on my PAs and getting close to a payout or whatever, I want to just treat it like it doesn't matter until you're there. So just don't even think about it. Because honestly, every time I think about getting a payout, that's when a loss comes on my PA. Gary says for sure. Yeah. It's definitely the way to be. I mean, I really strongly believe at this point that anyone that says to trade these accounts like they're live cash accounts just has the complete wrong take on it. And it's just my opinion. Anyone can think what they want, but I think I think the only way I can take advantage of these accounts in the best way possible is to do the exact opposite of treating them like a live cash account, right? Like use the leverage that's being afforded to us for such a cheap price of our real money that comes out of our bank account to pay for the account, and use the leverage in the best way we can with the strategy we have, knowing that, in evaluation, your max risk is $30 of your own real cash. And your PA is, max risk is whatever you paid for the evaluation plus the PA fee. And take advantage of that, And I'll tell you, I mean, ever since I've started to look at these accounts that way, I've been much better off. I mean, I'm really, my days are not stressful. I started my day yesterday with a loss. I wasn't feeling stressed about it. I didn't like getting a loss. It still stings, but it's not the loss wasn't what it used to be to me. It's like, okay, one loss on one account, move on. And end up being 6-1 and green on 6 accounts with only one red account. I walked away from yesterday going like, oh, today was a really good day. Even though there was that one red number on the board. All right, so it is interesting. I mean, even though my scalp would have worked here, the rejection on the opening price did happen. So I wasn't wrong. Even though the trade worked, it could have easily just bumped into the opening price of the white dashed line and got rejected without hitting my profit target. So it is just kind of further confirmation of like that is a rule I need to have in place. And it would have saved me from so many losses this year. I mean, really, if I have 34 losses, so how many I have? Yeah, 34 losses. I bet easily a third of those losses would have been avoided with this one rule, honestly. And so just doing that, I mean, maybe I would be at 85% for the year, which is really more ideally where I'd like to be, at least 85%. All right, so hopefully this day doesn't just turn out to be like a pre-FOMC day, because it kind of looks like the day before FOMC to me, which was, or actually, I guess I'm thinking of the actual day of FOMC, because that day kind of looked like this to start the day, and I got one trade, and that was the only trade I was able to get. Because everything just kind of slows down before FOMC. I'm hoping it's not slowed down after FOMC. I can't talk FOMC because of being a Friday. And I am going to have to stop before 9 today, Pacific Standard Time. I'll probably have to stop by about 8:45. I'm going to be the one taking my daughter to school today. I mean, it's great. She was sick for like over a week, missed over a week of school. And then she got to go back yesterday. Yesterday was like a short day because they had an open house last night at school. And then today is a normal day. And then next week is spring break. So a whole week off again. And then the following Monday is, I think, Easter or something, right? So she has another week and a day off plus the weekends right when she's ready to go back. Yeah, she recovered. I mean, she still has like a little bit of a lingering thing going on, but she's feeling good. So that's the important thing. I'm watching this chart too, which is a smaller chart. I don't know why, but for some reason I trust the smaller charts less. I tend to trade on the larger charts. It's kind of like, I think the larger charts don't have as much noise. So I actually skipped this. This was a second entry. I probably should have taken it, I guess. It was a really low risk. 21 ticks. But these smaller charts, because they have so many more entries, and so I always feel like they're more likely to get a loss just kind of in the noise somewhere. So I kind of, when I find them, I kind of keep my eye on them, but I trade off of them less, I feel like. But I should have probably taken that. I mean, 21 tick risk. If I lost, I could I could make up a loss on a 21 tick in one trade. All right, market, what are we doing here? So let me look at the daily. Haven't done that. So it's actually a second entry short that was triggered on the daily. Made a new high and reversed. So considering that we retested the high, made a new high, I wouldn't be surprised if this market started to turn in the other direction back to the EMA at the very least. I don't really like to try to set up a bias though, or kind of like do like an overall analysis in terms of like thinking about how I'm going to trade the day. But it's just interesting to kind of see it, just to have something in mind of what might happen. But I really am just going to take the trades as they come to me, as long as on the intraday level they're in good places to take trades. Saggy says I should probably take a break from trading. Uh-oh. What happened, Saggy? You were just feeling so positive about things a couple days ago. By the way, I've taken many breaks from trading. Sometimes a couple days at a time. I've taken time off like for a week at a time. I think even at one point I took like a month off, so I was just so disgusted with what was going on. So sometimes breaks are good. If you're not feeling the market and you're just like not trusting yourself, then take a little break. Sometimes you come back fresher and see things a little bit clearer when you're not looking at it every day. I know that happened to me a couple times. But yeah, Sagi, if you're having a hard time today, I'm sorry to hear it. Gary's done 1K on PAs. Okay, then your 1K that you were up on PAs? 1K on PAs. Blown. Oh. You made 1K on your PAs now, but you blew up your evaluations, Gary? Is that what that means? I'm guessing. So you added to your PAs and did well, but then managed to blow the evals. Well, I'll take blown evals over PAs any day of the week, so that's all right. Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. You just pushing hard on the evals, trying to get them passed. I think yesterday was the last day you could pass the evals and get a PA started today. A new PA started today to make the next payout window, if I remember correctly. Sagi says, from last 2 to 3 days, I'm not following my system. FOMO's coming, just win the trade, but that's not my setup. This happened yesterday also. I'm winning, but this emotional stuff might ruin me one day. And then Gary said, yeah, push to the limit on your evals, right? Got it. Yeah, I feel you, Sagi. I mean, it's good to like, even if your trading is going all right and you're not getting hit with losses, but if you're noticing your emotional state is not good for trading, I mean, turn it off, turn it off for the day. You got the weekend to kind of get your head right. Come back at it strong Monday, I noticed that with me. I mean, there's definitely days where I come in here and I'm just like, I can tell that I'm just feeling some sort of way, and I'm not sure that my head's in the game the right way. I think it's definitely harder when you have a strategy where it relies on a lot of kind of subjective analysis. Because every single trade you take, it's a quick split second decision on whether you're actually going to push the button or not. And so if your mind isn't right and you're kind of wallowing in something or going back and forth, if you're, some days I have days where I just feel like I can't commit, like I'm just hesitant. Those days are not great, because if you're feeling hesitation, then you're not going to do what you need to do at the time you need to do it. And you're either going to, for me, I'll either miss a trade and then, I'll get frustrated when the trade works and I missed it because I just hesitated. Or, it might be the opposite, where you just kind of compulsively force yourself to take that trade. And, if it turns into a bad trade and you lose, then you kind of beat yourself up over it. So it's tough when you have that kind of like, I don't know how else to refer to it, but like a subjective system, where there's a lot of analyzing going on. There's so many ways to trade, though. It's crazy, right? I mean, there's people that probably, if they turn on my stream, they trade with book map or order flow or footprints or, even ICT or SMC or stuff. They would look at how I'm trading and just be like, this guy's an idiot. What's he doing? He's just taking every time a candle goes up above another candle, the second time. That's his strategy. But yeah, that's my strategy. It's super simple. Like, I feel like my strategy is like, I don't know. It's for people that don't want to look at a lot of numbers, like footprints and. But I mean, my strategy is like basically taken from Mac's pat system, the 2-leg pullback, right? So I'm entering on second entries, but I don't use any of his other rules. I literally have thrown out everything he teaches otherwise. I don't care about signal bars. I don't care about inside bars. I don't care about congestion. I don't care about drawing trend lines. I don't care about drawing ranges. So, even for PATS traders, if they were to come and see what I'm trying to do, they'd be like, why would he take that? The signal bar is bad. Or, in this case today, my signal bar turned out to be good. But it doesn't have to be for my trading. It's just like kind of the dumbed down version in a sense, but then it's smart like a fox, because it's taking into account the whole chart. I'm playing the whole chart, as you two know, Gary and Sagi, that have been here for a while. I'm just looking at every second entry. Did it work from my profit target? And if the chart's working for my profit target the whole session, then that's the chart I want to be taking my trades on. And it's working so far for me. I mean, I'm going slow. I could probably copy trade and go bigger on contracts. I mean, I won't go much bigger, but I could probably do that. I could probably trade the same account multiple times in a day. You see, I go on these streaks, 6 trades in a row. Start off with a loss and finish 6-1, and one of the accounts that I started off in the red turned to be green by the end of the day. So I could probably push harder in a lot of ways with the system, but I'm still just experimenting with it, and I'm still kind of figuring out how well it works. It's only coming up on the end of the 3rd month, so it's really new. And also just trading NQ, like the first 3-4 weeks, like I wasn't even used to how NQ even moves, so it took some time to just even adjust to the difference between NQ and ES, because ES was just a completely different animal, it moves entirely different, really. Or it appears to move entirely different. But then when you get these bigger tick charts going, it kind of moves the same almost. It's just the ratio is different, right? I mean, what might be 4 ticks on ES is like, 40 ticks on NQ. Gary says, Here's a conversation going on. Gary's trading on 50Ks. Yeah, Gary really is killing the markets. You're right, Saggy. He's killing it. It's awesome. I don't know if you were here, Saggy, the other day. I was telling Gary that I wish he had a YouTube so I could watch his, because I probably learned some things from him. Not that for him to teach, but I think just being able to observe other traders, you can just pick up things, even if the strategy is totally different. All right. Again, I'm looking at the smaller tick chart, and this just triggered a trade, but I just can't bring myself to take a trade on this chart, and I just avoided a loss. So that would be the first loss on this chart. Did it? That is 0350. So yeah. So I'm going to stop looking at this chart. So he says 18,500 is great area. Yeah, the bottom here might break. Gary says I usually do good until I don't. I know that. I know how that goes. That was me. What was it, like September, October, part of November last year, and then the end of November, December, just destroyed. Gary says he uses 1 to 2 contracts on his 50Ks. All right, I'm gonna just find a different chart. I'm not gonna watch that little chart anymore. I don't like it. All right, let me see here. Gary says lots of buyers or profit taking at the 500 level. Yeah, I mean, I honestly won't be surprised if this continues to slip down. Just based on the daily chart, what I was seeing there. I think we made a new all-time high, retested the all-time high, made a new one, and there's room to maybe go down a little bit. But never bet against this market is the one thing. I mean, this market just finds a way to keep going up. Sagi says just waiting to break that trend line. I don't miss the days of my drawing trend lines. I'm so glad I don't have to draw those anymore. Gary says, yeah, the market is more powerful than our powers combined. Yeah. Yeah, the market's going to do what it wants to do, and we just got to try to figure out how to ride the wave for just a little amount of time, long enough to get our piece. All right, so I'm not foreseeing a trade for me anytime soon in this. But it will be interesting to see what happens when it gets to the point of retesting the lows. And I'd be surprised at this point if it didn't get a retest of the absolute low of the day, and then see what happens from there. But I'm glad I traded the way I did on this evaluation 35. I mean, I brought this account all the way back from the brink. It was at like 48,600 or something. So I brought it back from basically being at 500 or 600 from drawdown and blowing up. Brought it all the way back up. So it's got full drawdown above starting balance. It renews Monday. So, I was concerned that I was going to just be in a place where the account wasn't in a good enough spot that would make more sense to just cancel the account or YOLO it, because I'd want a fresh account. But now I can just keep it as it is and let it roll into a second month. Sagi says, needs my Kamahama. I don't even know how to say that, but okay, to go down. Kamahamama. Hamaya. Kamahamaya. All right, so I'm still just looking in the background here to see if I can find another tick chart I like. I may just decide to just roll with the 3 I have. I mean, honestly, sometimes 4 is like 1 too many in terms of like keeping track of and being ready to take a trade on any of the 4. Yeah, I'm just gonna work with the 3 charts. I don't see anything else. So if at some point today I do lose these 3 charts before my time is up, then that will also be the end of my trading day. And it's actually one aspect of my system that I really like as well. Like it there's kind of like all these fail safes for me. You know, it's like I'm not trading past a certain time. It's a pretty hard and set rule for the most part, especially on my PAs. I might be willing to trade evaluations later than my 9 to 9:30 cutoff, but definitely not PAs. And even the evaluations only if I have a reason to need to trade them, you know. And then if I run out of charts, if charts pick up losses and I don't have any with no losses, then I can't continue to trade for the day. I just like it. I like that there's like kind of things that are out of my control, you know, that are a cue to me that I can't trade anymore. You know, so it's not just like my own internal decision, but there's like forces outside of me that say, okay, well, you just don't have a chart anymore. That's clean. You're not going to trade anymore today. It's kind of revolutionized things for me. I used to be a guy that traded the whole session, you know, from my start time, you know, 7 or I used to be better at doing 6:45, 15 minutes after the open. And I would trade till 12:30, you know, a half hour before the regular session close. And I gotta tell you, trading this way, where I'm trading basically 2 to 2.5 hours a day, is so much better for me. I mean, first of all, with the system, I'm getting more trades than I used to get anyway. So more trades in less time, but also just kind of my energy wise and being able to come back the next day and feeling good to trade, and not being exhausted the whole rest of my day after I'm done trading. You know, finish at 12:30 in the afternoon, and then just being completely exhausted the rest of the day. I find I have more energy, and it's just been an easier experience these last couple months, having lowered my trading hours. So yeah, so I'll stick with the 3 charts today. Really not sure when I'm going to find another entry the way price is moving right now, but we'll see what happens. I've got about I've got about 45 minutes left to trade today. This is pretty slow action, right? So you know, big picture wise, if I only got this one trade today, that'd be all right. I'd be 13-2 for the week. So 15 trades is a little under where I'd like to be week to week. I'd like to be more around 20. But 15 is still really, really great for me overall. And 13-2, 87%. So my win rate is definitely where I'd like it to be. And you know, I made a little bit of progress this week on my PA2, inching it a little bit closer. I'm now less than 500 away from the payout. Unfortunately, it means that my week would be ending where both of my other PAs are a bit behind. So it wasn't a great week for those 2 accounts. But then at the same time, I'm within 1 trade of passing this evaluation 31, and within maybe two or three trades, depending on how many contracts I trade, on 27 from passing that one. So a good week overall so far. And I'm always a little bit more careful on Fridays, as it is also, because I kind of have an unsaid rule for myself, which is just like I don't need to take anything risky on a Friday. Friday is not the day where I want to walk away from the market having 2 days to think about a loss, ending my day that way and ending the week that way. So I think in general, I tend to have less trades on a Fridays just because, for one, I feel like the market generally on a Friday seems to be kind of like this. But then I'm also just a little bit more conservative on Friday, wanting to make sure that that I have a good weekend and don't really think about trading. And what's the best way to not think about trading over the weekend is to not end your day and week on a loss. Sagi says, not slow, dead. Price action. Yeah. It's just really not doing a whole lot. And I feel like sometimes I kind of like lose sight of if it feels that way for other people, just because I tend to trade larger tick charts. So my price action looks slower than most people's anyways. A lot of people are looking at, a lot of people are looking at like the 1 minute or the 2 minute. I've seen people looking at 20 second, 30 second. So I don't know if the sense of how slow or fast the market is always the same for me as other people that trade that way. So if you're on a time chart and it's, you're getting a new bar every 20 seconds, like, how much can you even tell that it's slow? I don't know. I've never traded that way. But for me on tick charts, it's like, obviously the lower the tick chart, the faster it goes, the faster the bars print, the more bars there will be. And the larger the tick chart, the slower the bars print. So really the slower it feels. So I'm already slowing things down with my charts. Sagi says, I think I should take English classes also. Is it because it's hard to understand me? I think I also, the way I talk is different. My whole accent is kind of messed up because I was born and raised in California, and then I went to Boston for college, and I think having those those two kinds of different ways of talking somehow in college, I feel like the way I talk kind of changed. It's weird. Gary's heading to lunch. Take it easy. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. Sorry about your evals, but really happy for you for your PAs. Keep up the good work. Have a good break over the weekend, and hopefully I'll see you Monday. Congrats again on those payouts that you had last time too. Saggy says, no, my English is so weak. To talk with others, I have to think first, then I talk. I understand. So it's probably easier for you to listen to someone speaking English and understand it. But then when you're actually having to have the conversation in English, it sounds like you're just slower to be able to get the words out. But even still, I only speak one English, or one English. I only speak one language. So, it's impressive to me that you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I wish I spoke more languages. I know a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to have a real conversation. And I know like a little bit of French because I took French in school, but I didn't retain it, so I can't speak it. Sometimes if I hear it, I could pick out some of the words to understand a little bit, but yeah, you can understand easily, but not speak and think easily. Yeah, makes sense. All right, I'm gonna take like a 2 minute break here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So the lows held. And we're right back to the opening price again. I've got maybe 30, 35 minutes left to trade. So yeah, just maybe one of those Fridays. Because now we're back into an area where, depending where the setups happen, I may or may not be able to take them. All right, so prices moved pretty easily through the opening price level. I'm going to retest the previous day close level. I'm actually starting to think, what if this is going to be like a situation where it's like a second entry short on the daily that fails? It'll continue to go higher a bit. So we'll see. Yeah. I've got my monitor on and my daughter's up and sounds like she's upset. Anyway, I was just looking at that. Let me turn off my mic so you don't have to listen to my daughter cry. All right, so not a whole lot of action for me. I've got about 30 minutes left, tops. And, we're right in an area now where if any second entry were to set up in this area, there's a good chance I won't be able to take it. We're right in between previous day's lows, current open price of the day, and previous day's close. So depending on where something might set up and in what direction in relationship to where those three levels are, I may have to just sit it out. So not much to talk about at the moment. But again, it's going to be another one of those days if I end up with just the one win. That's fine and good for me considering I've got 15 trades this week, 13 wins. And quite frankly, I mean, I'd be going into the weekend kind of on a high note, just knowing that I'm just so close on this PA2. It's like just string together a couple more in a row. That's all it would take. A couple more in a row without getting a loss first, and I'll be there. So I'll try not to think about it too much over the weekend and jinx myself, but it is nice knowing too, I've taken a hit on these PA accounts recently, multiple times. I mean, I think this is the third time I've been over 52,000, and the first time I was over 52,000 by I don't know, $10, and then I got lost and I got set back to 51.4 or 50 or 51.5, something like that, 51.6. Got it back over 52,000 again to 52,060, and then got knocked back again to 51,600 or 51,700 again, and then now I'm back up above 52,000 again at the highest bounce I've had on it. So it is good to know too, just in kind of going through this process with the strategy, that I can take a loss. I'm trading low enough contracts that I can take a loss, even if they're big losses, and I can get it back. And I've gotten it back twice now on this account. And so that helps too. It helps the psychology to know, okay, you take a loss, don't get down about it. You can get it back with the system. It's going to take some time the way I'm doing it, but I'm able to get back. And hopefully this will be the time where I can get over the finish line. Maybe sometime in the next week even. With a little bit of luck and a little bit of good timing, I could qualify for it next week, which would be great because that would be just in time for my 1-year anniversary on Apex. So that would be just awesome. All right, so we've got a first entry short here. On two of my charts, it's basically the same situation. So depending on where a second entry, now it's on 3 charts, depending on where a second entry short might happen, I'll have to see if I can use the previous day close as a place to potentially take it. But if it sets up down here at the opening price, then I would have to skip it. I've got like 15 to 20 minutes left to trade. I may, when I go take my daughter to school, I may just leave my stream running. And that way, when I come back, if I still have good charts, maybe I'll be willing to trade some evals at that point, because I probably won't trade PAs that late. But I'll probably leave my stream running, and then that way, if I do decide to do anything when I'm back, everything will still be going here. Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to set up like right below this candle, right into the open. Yeah, I'm just going to have to stay away from it. It's also setting up on this chart, very similar. All right, so the way it's making this push, maybe it will set up something off the previous day close line. Just going between my different tick charts, they're all pretty similar. This is the one where the candle closed first, so let's see if I get a setup here. Make sure I have enough room. Not really sure here. Don't really want an engulfing entry. So I'm just hoping it'll at least close first to give me a chance to make a decision. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen here. All right, take that off. Go back to this chart. Just in case it closes below. All right, this might be a trade here. If it triggers. it trigger. Looking like it's not going to. Maybe I'll trigger here. All right. I've got a second trade. Didn't think I was going to get one. Had to wait a long time for it, but it was worth the wait. And let's see. Looks like I got 5 points. So that's 20 ticks. And I'll update my stats here. But you can see, again, it was the same exact thing. Second entry right off the previous day clothesline, which is probably hard to see, but there's a dashed kind of maroon color as previous day close. And had the entry right off of that as a resistance level. And got a nice trade. So let me update my stats here. All right. So 2-0 for the day, 14-2 for the week, 88%. So that was nice. That was beautiful. It's set up right at time did I get in here? Right at 8:37, just in time before I'm leaving. Take my daughter to school. So what I'm gonna do, since I do still have 3 good charts at the moment, save this. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to keep my stream going. I'm going to be away until, call it 9:30. And I'll just see what happens when I get back, how things are looking. I'll decide whether it's worth looking for any more trades or not, or if I'll just be done at that point. But 2-0, I won't trade PA7 after that point. So if I trade anything, it'll be one of my evaluations. And I probably won't trade any of the evaluations that are really close to passing yet. I'm not under any kind of time consideration or anything in terms of renewals, so I don't have to try to pass any of those right away. And quite frankly, if the additional fees lined up with when I'm going to get a payout, that'd be better. Although I guess with the delay of how long it takes to get a payout anyway, I'm going to be having more fees regardless before that point. But all right, so I'm glad I got that second trade right there. That was good timing. I'm going to step away, take my daughter to school, and I'll be back at around approximately 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 50 minutes from now. All right, thanks for hanging out with me, anyone that's here, and yeah, I'll be back then. All right, I'm back. What'd I miss? I don't think there's anyone here. All right. What is going on? Doesn't look like I missed much. Doesn't look like I missed much at all. All right, looks like Saggy left earlier. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Saggy. I know you're not here anymore. Appreciate it. So there has not been... No, that's not true. Let me see. So there's barely a first entry above that, and then a second entry above here. Would have worked. So that's the only setup that's happened on this chart. Let's see. Similar one here. And similar one here. So those worked. That's all charts had the same entry, and they all worked. So all three charts are all still good here. So, I mean, in theory, I could continue to trade. What do I want to do? I mean, it's late. It's in the time that I would normally stop trading. I'm going to hang out for a little while. Now, the price has gotten trapped between the opening price and the previous day close this whole time since I took my last trade and since I've been away. So it's more likely than not that I'm going to stop trading sometime soon without any more trades, but I'm just going to hang for a little bit and see what happens. And I guess, what am I going to do? I guess if I'm going to take a trade, I'll take it on account 26, which is a fresh account that renewed recently. That I previously had blown up, so it renewed and reset on the renewal date, and I haven't traded it yet. So that's the account with the least skin in the game, and it would be good to get a trade on it. So, or a day traded on it to get started. So let's see what happens. And I'll go from there, just hanging out. Slow day. And after my last trade, I was gone from basically this candle, 840, and I just got back right now. So doesn't seem like I'll get any more entries, but you never know. Maybe I'll get lucky and something good will set up. Not too long, get one more in. And if not, then I'll be happy. 2-0 for the day is great on a slow day like this. And week 16 trades, 14 wins and 2 losses, 88%. Nothing wrong with those numbers. I can accept the 2 losses, even though unfortunately they happened on my 2 PAs. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, so it's just not much going on. Not much happening here. Usually I'm done by now. The only reason I'm even hanging out is because after this last trade, I left to take my daughter to school. So I missed about, I don't know, a little less than an hour. And so now I'm just waiting to see if I might get something else to set up. I've still got 3 charts that are good, so I don't know, see what happens here. All right. I give it a little more time to see if something would set up, but the way I'm seeing this is, the market's likely on its way to try to retest the high on the daily chart. It actually triggered a second entry short below this bar, so maybe it's going to turn into a failed second entry short, trap the shorts, and continue to go higher. Just have to see. But as far as my trading today, I'm happy with the day. Very slow moving market, and was able to get 2 trades out of it, and copy traded evaluation 35 on the first trade. So traded 5 contracts on that one, and was able to make $400. And then PA2 trading 2 contracts that made 162. Now that account is officially the closest it's been to the payout threshold, so I need just under $500 more. And PA6 was my second trade and made $177 and just slightly under starting balance. So overall, a good week. 14 wins, 2 losses. The 2 losses, unfortunately, were on 2 of my PAs, but that's just how luck had it this week. But overall, I can see that, I'm able to absorb losses, and meanwhile, was able to push forward a bunch of accounts, getting really close to passing on 27, really close to passing on 31. And then all of the other of my active accounts are in good shape. So the worst standing account is PA7 at this point. I'm only 300 under starting balance. I have about 1,000 of drawdown. So maybe a little under 1,000, 950. So I think that's going to wrap up my day and wrap up my week. And 14-2 for the week. Yeah, 88%. That's where I want to be every week, right? That's that will get the job done for me. If I can be 14-2 every week, I'll take it. 149 wins and 34 losses for the year, 81%. Been there for a while, 81%. And it just goes to show, when you take a loss, it feels bad, but you stick to the game plan, and by the time you get to the end of the week, those 2 losses don't feel very significant. So and they really don't. I'm doing fine with all my accounts, and we'll see how things go next week. Maybe I'll finally get across the finish line on PA2. We'll have to see, and definitely have some more PAs potentially lined up if things go well. So 80% discounts going on through March 27. You can use this code or any other. Like and subscribe if you want to continue following me on my journey. And the 1-day pass is still going on as well for evaluations on the Apex to March 27 as well. I think I've said it all, done it all for the week. Be back at it next week. Thanks for watching.